But baby, it's cold outside. Let me do my show, but baby, it's cold outside. All right, so it's Friday night, and it is January 30th. How many days we got in January? I believe we got 31. So that means February 1, guess when it'll be? It'll be Sunday. Sunday, Sunday, da 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 da. Can't trust that day, but it's not Sunday. It's Monday. Okay. No, today's Friday. I know what it is. All right, so I need to get some of this iced coffee down because I did not get to have my little nap. You know why? Because of FedEx. In my experience, in my opinion, what a lousy, stinking company FedEx is. They can't tell the truth to save their behinds. Just tell the truth, and it will be all well, but they hide. They hide behind walls. It's a fearful company. I don't know what it would be like to work in that company. It's probably a CYA everywhere you go because that's what comes across to the customers. I'm a customer. I was waiting for a package all day that you actually have to sign for. When you have to sign for it, I can't take my afternoon nap for my show today. So I didn't get to take a little nap and feel refreshed. So now I feel sleepy. So I put a little extra coffee in here for the caffeine, which means I'll probably be up all night. Hello. If I give you a call at 3 in the morning, you know why. And you'll know who it is, too. So, merry end of January. In a few days, we will have completed the first month of the year, climbing our way back up to Christmas. Welcome to the Christmas room. We are live on a Friday night. Hello to all my wonderful, wonderful friends, my wonderful, fantastically wonderful friends, and all that good stuff. We are going to have, I hope, a short show, meaning 1 hour long, like it's supposed to be. And guess what? You know what that means, right? Everybody is beginning to know me. I'm getting to start to know me. Hi, Peter. Meet yourself. Oh, my God. I don't like that guy. No wonder we need a savior. He saves us not only from hell, but he saves us from ourselves. And that sometimes is a big save. Well, welcome. I checked the weather to see what's going to happen here. But in the course of looking at the weather, the eastern seaboard, North Carolina, South Carolina, all the way up to Virginia, into Florida, we're going to have some very cold weather. Cold for us here in Miami means it's going to go for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I think the big slide starts on Sunday. So right now, if I actually check the weather right now and see what's happening. All right, so here where I am, it's 62, and it looks like it's going to get down to a low of 54. That's right before sunrise. Yeah, 54 is going to be the low for tonight, okay? However, tomorrow things are different. Where tonight the low is 54, tomorrow night the low will be 42 for us here in Miami, okay? So that is a 12-degree drop in 1 day. And then for 1, 2, 3 days, which would be Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we're going to drop into the 30s. Actually, one of those 2 days, it only goes to 34. I had thought it must have changed. I thought we were going to go to 31, which means if it rains, I'll get to play in the snow. Wouldn't that be wonderful? All right. So what I need to do is check, how about if we go in the northeast? So in the northeast, in the New York area, all the way out to Ohio, you've got 4 degrees. And tonight, by the time we finish with this show, it'll be 1 degree. but starting in the AM, it goes down to as low as -6. So it's going to be quite cold. Since we have a few guys here from Virginia, I should put a city that's representative of Woody and Jim. And remember David? David hasn't come in ages. He used to get up really early, and then I just think he fell out of the habit of coming to see good old Peter. Or maybe I got him mad. Remember, I used to sing, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, country roads, take me home. Well, that was because of David. I think it was David. Was it David Cook? But he hasn't been here for a long time. So I've got the Miami area. I got the New York area. I need to add a city that's representative of, I don't think Virginia Beach. I have relatives in Virginia Beach. I think more inland, so I can understand really what the temperature is for Jim and Woody. And then in the, I do have Texas. We got Texas here, but Oklahoma is a little farther north. So we got Sly up there, and we've got Kyle. These are members of our family that are in Tulsa and lower Tulsa area. So in San Antonio, it's 43 there now. And then tonight, it looks like it's going to go as low as sunrise is going to be 33 degrees. So it looks like 33 is going to be. Now, I'm not a weatherman. I'm not making these numbers up. I'm just reading what the Apple has listed there. All right. So don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading the Apple. So we've got Miami, New York. We've got Austin. And all the way to Ohio from New York. And then I guess we should put in somewhere where Carlos is, which would be California. I can't do it now. I don't have a keyboard. I have to type that in. All right. So that is the weather report. Okay. So let's see. We got microphones and all that kind of good stuff, which means you can hear me blabbing away. Yes, sirree. All right. So what did I write down? Oh, I named this, the FX2 is the best camera ever. Okay, now, listen up. Pay attention. I do that because it's not for you. You guys know how I feel about all these different cameras. But when people that don't watch the show see these titles, it's supposed to get them, it's called a hook, draw them in, okay? And that's why I come up with some of these names sometimes. It's not really for us, but it's more for the people that are going to watch the rewind during the week. Now, I do have the FX2 here, and I do believe it's the best camera for me. And there's your key word. The best camera for me might not be the best camera for someone else, okay? So while I think this is the better camera, okay, listen to how I phrase this. I'm really sly when it comes to words, okay? While I think this is the best camera you could buy for the money right now, I mean, I'm not talking about, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 cameras. I'm talking about the 3,000 and under club. I think the better camera for the larger number of people is this A7 Mark V, okay? And my heart is warm and affectionate towards the A7 line because I ran my whole Christmas room for over 2 years with the A7 Mark III. And it was a really good camera. And the things that we didn't like about it, A7 Mark IV, it wiped all that that crap out, okay? And now A7 Mark V, and I'll get to it in a minute, is a new era. It's a new era in the Sony line, and this is the best way to explain what it is. Just like Apple Computer Company, those of you guys that are watching on the Apple line, you remember that Apple came out with an M chip M1, M2, M3, M4. Okay, so what happened there is they broke through a lot of walls, and one of the walls that they broke through, or two specific walls that Apple broke through, was the heat that the computer would make and the amount of power that it would take. It greatly reduced both by a huge, huge amount, okay, to the point where we don't even think about heat on a Mac anymore. You really have to be pushing it incredibly hard to get the fans to come on an Apple. And this is what I believe, my opinion, I believe happened with the Sony line. They took their processor called the X, they came out with the XR, then they took the XR and they doubled it, meaning they gave you two of those processors in your camera, like the A7 Mark IV, not the A7 Mark V, but the A7 Mark IV, okay? And then on top of it, on cameras like the FX2, they added a third processor, and that was the AI, the artificial intelligence chip, where they applied that specifically to be able to program it to pick out things that it would focus on. You could have humans, where before it was very restricted. And then with the AI chip, you had humans, and then you had animals, birds, cars, trains. I think there was something else weird. Planes, okay. How does it recognize an airplane in the sky? But that AI chip is able to do that. So now I've got three processors running in here in the FX2. Now you take the the A7 V, you take all three of those processors, you squish them into one, which is very much like what Apple did with the M1 chip, M2. I still have an M1 Mac Mini. What we're broadcasting with right now is the Studio M2. So it's the Studio Mac, not the Mac Mini, but the Studio Mac, and it's the M2 chip. I never hear the fan go on that. And as a matter of fact, if I wet my finger, okay, and put it where the fan, you feel no air coming out. So the new chip that's in this, the first time that Sony's using it, it's in the A7 Mark V, all right, takes the XR chip, it takes two XR chips, then it takes the AI chip, it combines all three into a complete reworking, bringing it down into one specific chip, okay? They rerun the power structure, they rerun the routing, and all of a sudden, you've got people saying, I can't get my A7 Mark V to overheat. Wow, what's up with that? Sony is known for overheating, so is Canon. And they even have a setting where we could set it to the high heat setting. Now that chip is called the Bionz XR Plus. No, it's not the XR Plus, it's the XR2, okay? So it'll say, like if you go to B&H or a company where you can look at the specs and you look at the processor, you on this camera you'll see XR2. So that is the beginning of a waterfall where this chip is going to come into when they update this camera, which is the FX Mark II. My camera still has three of those chips, but my camera also has a fan built into it. See the vents on the back here? That's a fan that's built into it. Yeah, I did plug that guy in. Let's use them. Okay. So you see these fans right here, these ventilations. Okay, get it in the middle there. So that, you can see it better right there. These are vent grids. So you've got these vent grids, all right, and then on the side you've got the exhaust. So it sucks in here in the back here. And you notice it's not in the center; it's over to the right. And because it's over to the right, it draws the air across the processor, which is behind this back panel, okay, and then brings it here, and it keeps everything level. Okay, so when they come out with the FX2 Mark II, which is going to be confusing as hell to say, all right, this is the FX2 Mark II, so the FX22, and when you get sassy ass people like me that will say things like the FX22, okay, and we will thoroughly confuse the market, all right, but that will be one of the major updates that will happen with this camera. And whether it needs a fan or not, it probably will maintain the fan, but they could make it smaller and even make this camera lighter. But then it's some of the smaller, fantastic cameras that they have that they can't get a grip on the heat, okay? Therefore, they restrict the camera, and that would be the A7C Mark II. You see how small and cute this camera is? Now, this camera gets quite hot. Now, I don't have overheating problems with the A7C Mark II because I don't shoot in 30p or 60p. I shoot in 24p. Even what you're watching now is 24p. And it's not for heat. It's because this is the picture I like. So when they take the A7C Mark II, all right, so here, let's give a wish list for this camera, because this camera is the ultra sweet spot for a full-size sensor, 33 megapixels, right? And the things that it needs to get updated, let's say we don't change a lot of stuff, but the first thing we do is we put that new chip in here, the XR Mark II. That should destroy all claims of the heating problems, because on the A7 Mark V, which does have the new chip, the first camera that has it, okay, the A7 Mark V doesn't overheat, all right, and if they get this guy to not overheat, this is such a sweet camera. Small in the hands, it's kind of like an E10, but with a full frame sensor in it. Very light. It's got dynamic active image stabilization. So this is a prime candidate when they come out with the A7C Mark III. Okay, it needs to have that new chip. They also need to take this little mini HDMI that they got here and put in the full-size HDMI. And if they do nothing else, even if they leave the one card slot, okay, it would be a camera that I would be very attracted to. I would start drooling over this size and this weight, no fan, very thin body, full-size sensor, 33 megapixels, so you don't have to wonder, you know, is you going to have enough to crop down? And I actually have a lens cap lens on here. This is a 28 millimeter 4.5, and this camera does great in high ISO. Now, who knows what else they would dump in here to make it even better. Now, to screw it up, they'd leave the small HDMI, which would piss me off. And the reason for that is it's very weak. It's so small that the weight of the cable pulls down and eventually it breaks. So you solve that by putting the big HDMI, the normal size. Okay, get rid of this small HDMI. So if they left everything else the same, it would be fine. But chances are they would update the sound array on this to give it the better sound array. Who's got a great sound array? The E10. The E10 Mark II has probably one of the best sound arrays, better than the FX2. Okay, so if they change the sound array here, put the XR processor, the XR Mark II processor, and the HDMI, a really small, body form, and they'll probably leave in the 33 megapixels, so you'll get all the talking heads that have to give you reasons why cameras are bad, just because that's what they do, not because the camera's really bad. In other words, they're lying. They're lying to you. Okay? So they leave the 33 megapixel in here the way it is. That would be fine for me, but they might update that. They could update the quality of this. we recognize that the quality on this LCD screens are not the best. Even on my FX2, it's not the best. But they did update on the A7 Mark V, the A7 Mark V, they updated the LCD screen. So it's a better, higher quality LCD screen. So that's why I say this is probably the best camera you could buy, but this is the newer things on the market, all-in-one camera. And it doesn't introduce a handicap. Oh, well, you have to give up this in order to work this camera. You don't really have to give up anything. It works. And when a camera works, it works. So this would be a bragging rights camera to have and to own. And I know Jim Monday has one of these. I know Randy has one. Maybe he's got two. I lost track. Okay. So you can't go wrong with the A7 Mark V. So I'm actually making two high recommendations. And soon there'll be a third. Okay. A third camera that's not here at the moment. Okay. And that is thanks to a really poorly run company called FedEx. Can you tell I'm kind of pissed off at them today? So I'm disappointed what I needed to come in didn't come in. Okay? But that's all right. We have to grow up sometime. But the lies that they do is a lack of caring and integrity on the internal part, in my opinion, of the FedEx company. So supposedly, what I was expecting said arrival on Thursday. That would be yesterday, okay, before 8 p.m. Then today it said out on truck. Arrival will be today by 8 p.m. Then at 8 it changed. Arrival is expected Monday by 8 p.m. Okay? Why can't they tell the truth? Because what I have coming in is listed where you have to sign for it. I couldn't lay down, take a nap because they take it, they go away with it. Then they deliver it the next day. So that's why I put a little extra instant coffee in here with the caffeine in it, because I really feel wiped out. I not only had to not take my nap, it was kind of like taking care of a baby. When you take care of a baby, you have to pay attention, okay? I had to pay attention all day. I'm not whining and crying like a little child, but if they had told me the truth, I could plan my day. So what's the sense of using FedEx if they're such a lousy company? At least on UPS, you could see where the truck is now. And Amazon, of course, for a while, you could see where their truck is, and you could follow it. So you could see if it's 10 stops away. That means within about 20 to 30 minutes, it's going to be there. But until that 10 stops away pops up, you could take your nap, okay? You could load your dishwasher. You can do the yard work, you know. You could do whatever it is that you had scheduled for your day. And as far advanced as we are in the world today with electronics, they have my phone number. They have my email. Let's say there's some kind of a security risk or security problem, all right? So why can't they text me, call me, or email me that your delivery should happen within 10 minutes? So in 10 minutes, it's not enough to engage a theft ring around my package arriving, okay? And then at that point, I could even have a choice to leave things alone or even defer my delivery to the UPS store or to the FedEx store. This goes for all of them, not just FedEx, all right? They have my phone number. They have everything they need. Why can't they give me an alert when I get my groceries from delivery? Like, let's see, who do I use? Walmart, the Walmart Marketplace groceries. They will start texting me, we are pulling your groceries now, okay? And they'll text me that. And at first I was like, all right, stop annoying me. But, you know, that means there's something good coming. Like John Panay says, when you get a salad, salad is not food. It's something telling you that something good is about to come. That's what the purpose of the salad is. Okay, he makes things funny. So anyway, that's my little thing on FedEx. I have no other recourse than to say what I feel on my live show. You can't even write to them. Okay, you can't write, complain, and the people that work at FedEx already know this crap is going on, so they're just there to babysit your upsettedness. There's nothing they can do. All right. So as mad as I am at FedEx, multiply that by 1,000, and that's how mad I am at Tesla right now. And we'll go into that when we get a little more rolling into the show. So let's say hi-de-ho to the peoples that are in here. Woody's here. Ah, how you doing, Woody? Are you up? Good evening, Peter and everybody. I did see you, and what did I do? Did I text you? Yes, I texted you today. Jim, how you doing? Hey, 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 happy Friday. Oh, that rhymes. Did you do that on purpose? Hey, hey, happy Friday, Peter. Stay warm, 10 days of below normal. Yep, we're going through a lot of cold, and coldest. It's supposed to be the coldest in Miami since 2010. So how many years is that? 16 sound normal to you? And you know, you're in that zone. Where are you? You're over here. You're in that zone. So it's actually cool in here. I'm wearing a hoodie. Okay. Hi, Craig. Happy Friday evening, Peter. How was your week? It's been a rocky week for me. It really has. A lot of emotional roller coasters. There was some physical roller coasters. A couple of serious ones. Didn't have to go anywhere. No doctors, no hospitals, no urgent cares. But I didn't feel good, okay? And it was one of those kind of things. Well, okay, if it's my time to go, I'm ready to go. You guys will miss me on Friday night. What can I tell you? And Wednesday, too. So, but don't cry for me, Argentina. I know I'm going to a better, wonderful, fantastic place. So you know how to picture what heaven is like, because that's where we're going. Okay, if you're in the right faith, according to my faith, okay, that's where we're going. But we don't know a whole lot about it. So what would be a good thing to put in your head so that you can understand what it's like there? Because it's kind of ambiguous, but not really. There's an awful lot in the Bible that tells you what heaven's about. Okay? So picture a planet where heaven is. But heaven is not the planet. A planet is bigger. So picture a planet where a big city. Pick a big city. I want to say New York, but New York has gone sour. How they can vote a person that they voted in is not acceptable. There's something wrong mentally with the people in New York, okay? Anyway, picture a big city. Miami. How about the city that I'm in, okay? Miami is not the planet. Paris is not the planet. London is not the planet. Melbourne is not the planet, okay? Those are cities on the planet. Heaven is the biggest city on the planet. The planet is called Paradise. Whoa, Peter, I didn't know that. Well, just go with it, okay? Humor the old man, all right? So the planet is called Paradise, and the main city where the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the boss of the universe, the boss of existence, is in that city called heaven. Now, the planet, we are a mimicking of that planet. We have roads? We do. Heaven and paradise has roads. We have rivers? It does too. We have buildings? It does. We have houses and neighborhoods? It has that. We have fruit trees and we have wheat fields? It has that. Okay? It's got mountainsides. It's got riversides. So picture heaven the way you see the best that earth could possibly be. And that's what heaven is like. Okay? That's the city. The whole planet is like that. All right? So if you saw The Wizard of Oz, remember where the beginning of the yellow brick road? Follow the yellow brick road. What? Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Okay? So the yellow brick road went round and round until it started to go, went through the forest and all that kind of stuff. But when you got to an area, you could see way out in the distance a city that was huge. That's where the Wizard of Oz was, Emerald City. All right? So when we arrive at heaven, the paradise, all right, there will be receiving areas much like a bunch of airports or some humongous airport. And there's inbound traffic all the time. And that's where we arrive. And we are met there probably by our family, friends. I don't know what the announcement system is, but you would certainly know if you had family flying in to visit you. Email, telephone calls. I don't know. How would we find out? Well, they have systems there. So we act like it's so distant we can't possibly understand it. Bull crap. We're carbon copies, 2 different planets. And one is not completely alien to the other. One is made in the image. As a matter of fact, the people that inhabit this planet, man, is made in the image of God. So why stop there? Earth is made in the image of paradise. So when you can't picture where your loved ones are, picture Earth. My parents have gone to heaven, all right? I don't know where they're living, but they're living someplace. Okay, they're not knocked out because there is a theory called soul sleep, and it's a lie. I'll tell you that right up front so you don't get scared, okay? Soul sleep is a lie. There's nothing in the Bible that tells you that we enter soul sleep. So the theory of soul sleep is you die, you're out. You're out cold, okay? And then the next thing you know is when you wake up, when Jesus returns and he wakes you up and brings you out of the grave. That theory is called soul sleep. So these little things or theologies make it through the earth. Like right now, we have another lie that's major, okay? And that's called dominion theology. Dominion theology is growing like leaps and bounds. So just this week, the largest Christian broadcaster on the planet, Trinity Broadcasting Network, fell on its face. It has fallen into dominion theology. So dominion theology, basically, to state it simply, is that the Christians, so if you consider yourself Christian, okay, little by little take over the earth. We take over the government positions. We take over, we occupy the offices that run everything on the planet. And when we're finally in that position, we hand it over. Things get better and better, and we hand it over to Jesus, who returns at that time and takes over and governs. Well, that's a lie. Yet they will, in Ezekiel it tells you this, and in that it tells you that, okay? And they build that up. But the Bible that I read says that we're going downhill, and Jesus is going to come and rescue the place, okay? Well, they're teaching it's going to go up. Things are going to get better and better and better, okay? And Christians are going to occupy the offices in the different governments around the country, around the world, the different countries around the world, until everything is under control of Christians. That's called dominion theology. Well, that's the same shit. Okay, sorry, no disrespect to any person in here, okay? But that's the same crap that the Muslim, the Islamics, they're going to rise until they can take control of the world. You'll have Sharia law and Sharia courts until they control the whole world. It's a mimic of that. Well, what's up with that? We don't mimic a fallen religion, okay? And it is not a good religion. If you're in it, you need to consider without anger what is going on, okay? The Bible clearly states that any person or even angels, and this is the key, that preach another gospel other than Jesus, virgin birth, sinless life, death on the cross, physical resurrection, physical, okay, is cursed. That's pretty strong words. I'm not saying it. I'm repeating what the Bible says. Okay? So that means that Muhammad got a visitation from an angel, and the angel told him that the Jews fell down, they didn't keep their covenant with God, and God has had it with them. And therefore, he's to start a new religion that will take the place and take the covenant, take the blessings, and take the power that was given to the Jews, and it's supposed to be put into the hands of the Muslims, and they're supposed to take over the world. And that they are supposed to militarily take the world under submission. Well, that's the same thing dominion theology is telling us. Okay? Or similar. It doesn't sound like reality to me. It sounds like a lie. And it is a lie. That's not how the Bible that I read plays it out. Things are going to get worse. The Christians are snatched out. 7 years later, Jesus comes back and rules the world for 1,000 years. That's plain as day. Either you believe it or you say, I don't believe that. That is just something that somebody wrote that was thinking like that one day. And that's a more valid thought than to try to sneak it in, okay, and try to tell you that the rapture is at the end of the tribulation and that we're going to rise up. You know, the Mormons do that. We're all going to rise up to be gods. The Jehovah's Witnesses do that. Jesus rose from the dead, but only in spirit, not in bodily form. So you see, these people had visitations from angels. And the Bible says any angel that comes and tells you something other than the true gospel that's right there that Paul lays out, okay, is cursed. Cursed. As a matter of fact, it gets meaner than I would be. I like to be nice to people. It says don't even mix with people like that. Okay? Never mind vote for them. What is wrong with that? Okay? That's crazy. When I read in the Bible where it said something to the effect of there will be a great falling away, I'm thinking like, how can you believe in Jesus and have a great falling away? That disturbed me greatly. The great falling away can't mean that Christians are going to fall away from the faith. But they're doing it right in front of my eyes. We have a rapture that's supposed to happen at any minute, any time. All the way, Jesus said, be ready at any moment. No preconditions. And you got people out there naming all these preconditions. And now they have a new thing. We're just going to get better and better and better until we rise up and we occupy all the offices. And pretty soon the whole world is going to be occupied with Christians. And Jesus is going to step in and just take over the world. There's nothing like that in the Bible. Okay? That is pure bunk. I'm telling you this because you might get little drops of it in your ear and it might tickle you, and I don't want you to be accepting that stuff. Believe what you believe or don't believe it at all. There is no, you can't just stick the tip in, okay? It's, you're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. There is no, I'm pregnant a little bit, okay? So the great falling away that used to disturb me, I'm watching it, and I'm going like, no, this can't be. But it's happening. So it's telling me that we are in more of an end time than we think. So what kind of a camera would I need to photograph the return of Jesus? I have to bring this back to, well, I wanted to talk about cameras, but on the Friday night show, I am free to talk about anything I want, and you guys know that. Okay? So anyway, now you've got to say everything that I just said without being insulting. Just give the facts, and people have the right. God doesn't take the right from people to choose what they want to believe. So when I'm sitting here and I'm saying all this, if you disagree with me, don't disagree violently. Just know you have the freedom to disagree, and God gives you that freedom, not me. So if I say something that I wouldn't say, that you have to believe this and this and that and that, no, God doesn't. God just lays it out in his Bible of what it is, and then we get to choose. As a matter of fact, it is in the Old Testament where God gives you right and wrong, and then he tells you what to choose, but it always remains in your hands. So God doesn't take that choice away. All right. Now that differs from our nation actually choosing to put laws in effect that are in the Judeo-Christian guidelines, because that is what this country is built on. This country is built on the Judeo-Christian principles and laws, okay? It's not built on the Buddhist laws. It's not built on the Mohammedanist laws. It's not built on any other thing that you could plug in there, okay? The Constitution, the freedom of religion, not freedom from religion, which is the way that the courts have taken it. Freedom, I have a right to have a freedom from religion, and I don't even want to see it. Take it away. No, that's not written in there, okay? And even the Constitution itself is not written that way. You have the freedom of religion. So the government cannot get involved with your religion. You choose. You could choose not to have any religion. Yes, that's your choice. Okay? So what in the world got me going down that way? I have no idea. I have no idea. It just bleh. Should I get started on Tesla? Because it's gonna be really strong. Okay? I don't think Elon Musk should be in charge of Tesla. They gave him this $1 trillion package for pay and stuff like that. They should have thrown him out. He should not be running Tesla anymore. I'm not denying the man is brilliant. I'm not denying that the man has not turned the car industry on its ear and changed it completely, but I am denying that I believe that Elon Musk is not a stable person. Okay? He created a car company that has changed the lives, has changed the fuel supply of the automobiles, not only in this country, but on the planet. He did that. Kudos for him. That's one for him. Then he became best friends with the President of the United States. Seriously? That's amazing. Then he started to apply his genius to things in the government. Okay? Then he became political. Then he stabbed the president in the back. Why would you be best friends with the president when you have him picking up your child and this and that, and then stab him in the back? There's no stability in that thinking process. So in turn, what he has done starting just from a few days ago or yesterday, okay, he's taken 2 of their flagship cars and he discontinued them. And he's taking the full self-driving system and he's putting it on a subscription basis. Okay? And if we have a change in the government, like right now we have a very conservative government, you have Trump and that thinking, and yes, that's the way I think too, but I'm old enough where I have seen it go back and forth like a pendulum. And then after a while, the other group gets in again. Now the trouble is, each of the groups are much more vocal, and one is actually much more violent. Okay? So it becomes scary. But this current administration has put up a wall which doesn't allow all the EV, the electric cars. They're being developed in China faster than they're being developed in the United States. They actually have a self-driving system in China that is equal to or better than Tesla's full self-driving. They just cannot come into the United States. As a matter of fact, just 2 days ago, China made a deal with Canada where those cars are coming into Canada, but not into the United States. So what has Elon accomplished? He has turned away his own people. He has marked his own people. Like if I owned a Tesla, I'd be marked as an enemy for violence by a large group of people in this country just by buying a car. He has made an enemy of the President of the United States. He has canceled the 2 flagship cars in Tesla. He has taken the most popular car that was on the entire planet, regardless of the fuel, and took it from first place to where it's in third place, and Toyota has first place, okay, simply by not paying attention to his product. The Model Y and the Model 3, which are basically the same car, all right, they get like eye drops of forward motion instead of bucketfuls of amazing forward motion. Well, Peter, maybe they're so good, maybe they can't possibly go forward again. Well, wait a minute. We have a car. It's 4 doors. It's an SUV. It's called the Model Y. It's the one that I like. Okay? I like the Model X, but now it got discontinued. All right? No, I can't afford either one until I'm gifted with one of them. Somebody will bless me and get me a car like that because I asked God to bless me. I don't know if it's going to come through me having a brilliant business idea or someone's going to say here, but the source for me is the Lord. Okay? I'm not telling him which road to choose. So you have this Model Y. Now take the general population. You've got a 4-door SUV. Okay, where's the convertible? Where's the pickup? I'm not talking about that ugly Cybertruck. So you got a convertible right there. It's available to be done. You've got a pickup right there. Can be done on that same car. Are you old enough to remember the Ford Ranchero and the Chevrolet? What was the one that they had? Where it's a car, not an SUV and not a pickup, but the back had an open bed. They can do that on that car also. Okay. Where's the luxury boat part of it? Where you put all the luxury things and make it ride like a Cadillac or a BMW, whatever you consider higher these days, Mercedes. And it rides like on a cloud and handles like today's modern cars. It has all the buttons and the dashboard where it belongs and the buttons for the windows like we're used to, the Cadillac version on that same car. That I just came up with 4 cars for that one car. He's supposed to be developing his product. He's the head of the company. And instead, he closed down the 2 flagship cars, and it's going to be replaced with that production line is going to actually make robots. So you could say, hey, Osmos, or whatever your name is, fill up my coffee. And it'll bzz, 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 okay? Danger, 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 Master Robinson. So those 2 lines are going to make robots. I'm not saying don't make the robots, but I'm saying take care of what you started. Don't destroy everything, your relationship with a president of the United States, with all your customers where you have caused them to be a mark as a target for violence simply because you chose to buy that car. Thank you so much, Elon. Okay? Thank you for stabbing a president in the back. You used to play in the Oval Office and your kid used to run and sit in his lap. And now, no good anymore. You canceled your 2 flagship cars. Did they sell? No. Were they equal to their counterparts? They're the flagships. Did it equal what the BMW does? No. Did it equal what the Mercedes, how wonderful the Mercedes is? No. What was he paying attention to? Was he twiddling his thumbs? He's got SpaceX. It's a different company. Go play over there. But cause your company to flourish. You have changed America, like televisions came in from radio. Then it went to color, and then telephones, and now we have cell phones. Now we have cars run on batteries. Would you have thought of that 30 years ago? We have cars running on batteries? Isn't that crazy? Well, this man accomplished that. Okay? But as far as blooming and flourishing the Tesla car company, he's killing it. And that makes me mad because I like the Tesla. But I'll tell you one thing, as much as I not pro-Chinese product, when they break into this marketplace and I get real choices and I can drive around where the car will do the driving for me and it's more comfortable and it's more car-like. The Chinese didn't make it futuristic like the Jetsons. The Chinese made it like, let's take the Cadillac and out Cadillac. Let's take the BMW and out BMW. Let's take the Rolls-Royce and out Rolls-Royce. And they are accomplishing in that. Companies like General Motors has released cars in China that you can't buy here. Remember the Buick Park Avenue? Fantastic car. It's not available in America, but it's available in China. And it's awesome. Look it up. Look at the pictures of it. I'd buy one in a heartbeat. It's gorgeous. But it's only for China. China's a whole country, is a whole planet by itself. Okay? That's how big their economy is over there. And when they started switching from communist daily life to a capitalist daily life where you can have a company, you can make money, you can have a car and have a chauffeur, you can have a fancy car, okay? The basis of the country is still communist. They still, can shut down things just because they want to. Okay, they don't have like we have here. But when the freedom that God has given man that's in our Constitution, when it flourishes, the country flourishes. And look at China, how it's flourishing. They're going to flourish their way right out of being a superpower. How is that going to happen? They were driving a wedge forward. Now they're westernizing China. And in the process, their country is starting to go downhill. This is the first time I read in X number of years where their population has decreased. Well, they're making it so you can't have babies. They get involved in your bed. Okay? So all this stuff is going on. The church is sputtering. The governments are sputtering. Big companies are sputtering. You take a big company to bring it into your neighborhood, okay? Somebody like a Chase will come in and buy out a bank that's been there for 100 years, like Washington Mutual. You guys remember banking at Washington Mutual or Citizens Bank? Okay, those are all swallowed up. What they do, they took the sign off the wall that said Washington Mutual that we've had for years. And now it says Chase. So the first thing they do is destroy what has been built for 100 years. Down here, the big department store wasn't Macy's. It was Burdines. Burdines was, they basically brought you coffee in Danish when you came to buy your clothes and stuff. They were the creme de la creme. They were out Macying Macy's. And Macy's came out, Federated Department Stores came in, bought out Burdines. All the Burdines signs are down. And most of the people that were born from the year 2000 and newer don't even know what Burdines is. It all says Macy's. We live in one big Macy's. Okay? But it's these innovators that caused it to rise. So what Elon is doing, they're paying him extra just because they're money hungry so that the stockholders could get higher stock things, split the companies up and let the car company flourish like Ford did when they brought out the Ford Model T. It flourished because it wasn't being squelched. Now the owner of the company is squelching the company. and the company is dying. I wanted one car. I was waiting for them to come up and say, well, we're going to take the Model X. We're going to make it an ultra flagship. And it's going to go out of my price range. I mean, it would take an act of God for me to afford it. But, you know, the Rolls Royces are there. The Mercedes high-ends, the Model S is there. The BMWs are there. So if you have a run where you flourish in your life, you have the choice. He took that choice away. It's not selling very well. Close it down. It doesn't need to be there. And the Model Y, it's selling very good. We're doing okay. Okay, so the things that should be growing are being squelched by, in my opinion, Elon Musk. All of this is my opinion. I don't want a bunch of lawyers writing to me and telling me to shut up. I have the freedom of speech. This is my opinion. I'm saying my opinion. Okay? I don't run the country. I don't run your life. I don't practically run my own life. All right? So my opinion is my opinion. And YouTube is not going to like my opinion. So you watch. They could come down on this show. Not last Easter, but the Easter before, they removed my Easter show. It's not there. You can't find it. I can't find it either. They said that it violated something, blah, blah, blah. And before I could even look to see what the hell did it violate. And I wasn't as opinionated as I am now. As I'm getting older, I'm getting more opinionated. All right. Now, the camera companies. How about if we apply what I just said to the camera companies? So Canon, the number one camera maker, the number one selling camera maker, okay, has gotten into a stuttering. Have they reached their technology abilities? I can't believe that of Canon. I mean, Canon is the one that spearheaded. Did you know the CMOS sensor that's in your camera, the CMOS sensor that's in the A7 Mark V, the CMOS sensors that's in the Nikons? Canon came out with that. Okay, before that, it used to be CCD sensors, and the Nikon cameras were built on CCD sensors. They all had it. Their Achilles heel was, if you got anywhere near ISO 800 and higher, it fell apart. Okay? And the CMOS sensor, the noise on it, other than 25 ISO, was hideous. I don't know what Canon did, but they cracked the code. And suddenly in the year 2000, I believe it was 2000. If it wasn't, it was 2001. Okay? They came out with the D30. What was in that? It was not a CCD. I'm getting all excited here. It was a CMOS sensor. The type of sensor that it's not possible for it to work. And it had a CMOS sensor in it. And it would fly all the way to ISO 1600, even 3200, and the noise was still better than the then Nikon's ISO 400 and 800. Canon cracked the market. And then you know the history. They came out with the D30, D60. Then they moved to the 10D. Then all the Ds, 20D, 30D, 40D, 50D, all the way up, 90D. Now we're into the newest stuff. Okay? But the camera is still basically the same camera that it was in the year 2000. That's 25 years ago. Don't you think that cameras should evolve? I believe cameras should evolve. So in the Canon company itself, we had the pandemic hit. We had the pandemic hit the whole world. Okay? And then all of a sudden people can't physically go to work. You had to stay home because of the pandemic. Don't forget what just happened. Because if you forget what just happened with the pandemic, you're going to go back to not guarding yourself from strange viruses entering your body, washing your hands, spritzing your mouth with a scope-like substance when you get near somebody and you can feel that there's something dangerous in the air. That's going to come around again. They did it once to the earth. They're going to do it again. And I don't know who they are. All right. But we were supposed to learn, but instead of learning, we're going to forget. So instead of learning that the masks that we wore did nothing, and we need to develop a mask that actually will become a barrier, but until that happens, okay, yeah, I know about the N95 and all that, all right. Scope, Listerine. I think they make spritzers. Those should be in your pocket. When you go to the grocery store, you should be spritzing your mouth. That's where it enters, and it festers and grows into your body. Washing your hands is so simple. Get it off your hands before you scratch your eyes, pick your nose, okay, or whatever other wonderful hygienic thing that you do. But we've thrown it all away. We don't wash our hands. We don't even wash our hands after we go to the bathroom. I'm watching it in this house, okay? And it applies to some of the people that are watching here. You cannot back down. Evil is out there, and it doesn't take a nap. We take the naps. Evil is out there, and it doesn't take a vacation. We're given the tools, and we fall down. So when the pandemic actually hit, and the people at the Nikon Corporation and the Canon Corporation, the Sony, couldn't go to work, okay, that means management was pulled out of being the ever-seeing eye over every employee that's right there in the building. And what happened in Canon was the company flourished. When the employees were set free to actually do things, that's when it came out where you could use the USB port to, Zoom. So you could communicate with your family. It was the Canon employees that got together offline, online, whatever way they did it, and the manager wasn't there to say, no, that's not in our process. You cannot do that. Well, they did it because no one was there to say no, and they flourished. This is the power of the human being, especially in the United States. When you see a country that is set free with the power of God, with the faith of God, it flourishes. Regardless of what your politics are, it flourishes. Because man is designed to be productive, creative, come up with inventions. That's why wedding photographers, our biggest job isn't to take pictures, it's to make workarounds over every little thing that breaks down the ability for us to shoot the wedding. That's our number one job, is having the workaround to figure out what to do when the camera breaks, when you can't get enough light, when you got a uncooperative bride, and all that is there if we will engage our brain. So now, Sony doesn't seem to have the same corporate structure as Canon. Canon is kind of like CBS, what they call the Tiffany network. Okay, very strict, very upper chin. Okay, and I'm saying this because I know some people that work there that you can't name names, but they all practice CYA. Do you know what CYA? Think what those letters basically actually mean. CYA. Cover your bottom. That's the way things work in one of the companies I just mentioned. Okay? So I will get a phone call and it'll say, you can't repeat this. All right? But I tried to get friendly with the newer management that came in when the old guard went out, but they said I'm an arrogant asshole, basically is what I was told through the channels. They have no interest where I would be able to get Canon cameras. They'd fly them out to me, okay? I always respected them. I never broke or violated privacy or NDAs. I never even had to sign one. That's how high they thought of me in the Canon company. I didn't even have to sign an NDA. They knew if I said it, I would keep it. My word is what I'm talking about. So now you've got the flourishing coming out. And these cameras need to rise up above. And Sony just did that. And Canon did not. That surprises me As much as I'm not talking nice about Canon, I would have expected Canon to be the spearhead, the drive that would have done what Sony just did by taking the processors and moving it like Apple did into the M chip, where they got rid of Intel and put the graphics card, the processor, and all the highways or USB all in one processor. They rebuilt it, lowered the heat, lowered the power consumption, which lowered the heat, okay? And that happened here. And it's called the XR Mark II chip. So that is what happened, and now that is going to dribble down through all the cameras. I'm hoping the A7C Mark II becomes the A7C Mark III with the new chip. I'm hoping the one that I love, the FX2 Mark nothing, becomes the FX2 Mark II, okay, with that new chip, because it's a whole new world. They are ahead. Canon's going to have to do that before they can catch up with Sony. Even though the bigger name, what's the bigger name? It's Sony. I'm sorry, it's Canon. Okay, Canon has the marketplace, market share. That's what puts them where you go, yes, sir, to Canon. They sell more cameras than any other camera company on the planet. That's what Tesla had. And this guy that they're giving pay raises to is destroying. Why can't they see that? It's so obvious. It's not like I'm a conspiracy theory where, Michelle Obama is a man. That's a conspiracy. What kind of bullshit is that? Okay? They have children. And yet, we've got flat earthers. They believe the earth is flat. Seriously? Flat? Why? Because that's all you can see. The world is bigger than what we can see. Okay? So, I'm running out of yelling. So let me find out. Is it safe? Is it safe to go into the comments? So Jim says, hi. Happy Friday, Peter. Stay warm. 10 days of abnormal weather, and that is what we get. We're going to be colder than 2010. Coldest since 2010 in Miami. Happy Friday, Craig. Love you, Craig. Just so you know, I love you. Still love you. Jim is saying hi to Woody. Roy. Good day, Roy. Did you enjoy that rant? I in my mind, every once in a while, I can hear you, okay? And I'm thinking like, oh, my God, what is Roy going to say? But doesn't matter. The words, they came flying out. That's what happened. Late night show when you started this channel. Yeah, I started this channel I don't remember when I started it, but it was on the big channel, and then I moved it over. I started a whole new channel, which is this one, which, by the way, I'm only 5 subscribers from 500. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed, I don't often do this. Get me over the 500 mark. Subscribe, okay? Even if you don't like what I'm saying, subscribe. Get me over the 500 mark, because it does something for me. I'm not sure what it does, but I know they brought it down from 1,000 to 500 to get into the some kind of a program that YouTube has. So I need at least 5 people to subscribe. Okay, will you do that for me? No? That's where you stab it. Shot in the heart and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. Subscribe, okay? If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe. So Craig says it's 10 degrees here. Give me the big city that you're near. I know, like, Miami's got 100 different bedroom communities. Miami Shores, Miami Springs, Miami Lakes, Miami Gardens. And then they have their own names. And then Fort Lauderdale, you got Plantation, you got Davie. But the big city is Fort Lauderdale. So the big city here is Miami, okay? So tell me what city you're near. I probably already know. Oh, here's Luis. Hi, Luis. How you doing? He's saying hi to everybody. Remember, his show going to be on tomorrow night. He's not like me. He's much calmer, much quieter, And remember to hit the like button. By the way, I don't have a beef with you, but I do have where you took something as a misunderstanding of something that I didn't mean at all. Okay, when I said ice was dangerous, I meant the ice on the road is dangerous. It's actually called black ice. And when you read that, you got flustered like I was talking about the political ice that's going on now, when I didn't even think of that. So you got 3 definitions to the word ice. Okay? Number 1, ice. Ice cubes. Ice on the floor. That when you slip, you're going to fall on your ass. Okay? And it's going to hurt. That's one iteration of ice. The next iteration of ice is internal combustion engine. ICE. And many times I'll say an ice car, okay? But with the third iteration being in the news so much, people are going to think I'm talking about ICE, the arm of the government. That's the third ICE. So I think you took it that I meant the third ICE when I was talking about ice cubes. That the ice on the floor is, with the freezing rain comes down, it turns to ice, and then Marlon told me black ice is the most dangerous. That's when you don't even see that it's ice, and your car you're going forward and whoo, now you're going sideways, but your car is going that way. I can't imagine living like that. That's beyond my scope. So anyway, I wanted to apologize in case you thought that, because I didn't mean that at all. I meant that we are in cold weather, we're having roads turn to ice, and the ice is the dangerous part. Okay? Because when you read that, you went, oh, Peter. And I think you were thinking the other one, and I didn't mean that at all. So my apologies for that. I represent the summer temperatures in here. Yeah, you're going through your hot while we're going through our cold. So what you doing down there? Okay, it's a complete flip-flop. So Randy's giving us the weather, 32 degrees at a.m., but it'll get colder the next morning on Sunday. Hello, everybody. That's Randy. Okay, so I'm guessing this kicked in because I feel all uppity. I don't feel sleepy like I need a nap anymore. The coffee works. Hey, Randy, the coffee works. Roy says it's a pleasant 30. See here now. Come on. Why isn't my mouse working? The A7 Mark V is beautiful. I may be biased, but you also may be right. The camera is amazing. It's a work of art. It's a thing of beauty. And who was it? Maybe it was Randy. Maybe it was Luis, Mr. Camera Junkie. Maybe it was somebody else. Where they said it would be hard to find a bad camera. There is no bad cameras now. So they're all works of art. They're all beautiful. They're gorgeous. Roy says, Apple's M chip are a big step forward based on the ARM risk. Blah, blah, blah. I wish PCs would go the same way. Well, you got your own problems there with the PCs. What's that guy's name? He's busy playing with Einstein or whatever that guy is instead of taking care of his company and getting political. Companies shouldn't get political. You're supposed to be serving the people, making things for us to buy. Okay? Keep your ass out of the politics. Serve the people so they can buy newer and better things. That's what it's for. You want to get political? You do it with your friends in your area, not on the TV unless you go into politics. Run for senator, run for something. But don't use your leverage because you got a lot of money in your wallet to be able to speak and influence people. Norm says, Merry Christmas, Peter. Good evening, Greggies around the world. Still thawing out here in Toronto. It's a balmy minus 11 degrees Celsius tonight. It was minus 25 degrees Celsius just a few hours ago. Cameras just don't overheat here. Norm found the solution for overheating cameras. Move to Toronto. Pack up your bags, lock, stock, and barrel, and move to Toronto, and your heating problems are over. Hi, Norm. I love you, buddy. Roy is getting into technical stuff. I'm not going technical. It gets me confused. Why can't we make cameras? Why can't we make cameras a bit bigger? Why can't we just? I got it. It's a J. Why can't we just make cameras a little bit bigger? They can get bigger and they can get smaller. Kind of like one of our body parts. It can get bigger and it can get smaller. And Peter, keep it clean. This is a nice, calm, loving Christmas channel. We're not talking about things that get bigger and smaller. That's private stuff. Wow, that's the first time I've seen those two Sony bodies side by side. Which ones? You got me excited. Oh my God, look how many people made comments. So let's go to the overhead camera real quick. And I had the A7 Mark. Oh, it's not going to fit in here. Oh, that's because I zoomed it in so high. Let's zoom it out a little bit. There we go. A little more. Okay. All right. So this is the A7 Mark V. We'll put it over here. This is the FX2. We'll put it over here. And this is the A7C Mark II. That's all three of these bodies together. It's pretty cool, huh? Okay. So this has got the newest processing chips with the new thing like the Apple M chips. It's got the XR Mark II. This one's got all three of those chips, but they're separate chips on that board. So it'll have two XR chips inside the body and one AI chip. And this one will have one XR chip and one AI chip. Okay? So this is the newest technology. This is the A7 Mark V. So whether you like this camera or that camera or any camera, this is the only camera on the planet at the moment that's got the XR Mark II, which beats basically everybody, every place. Okay? Including Canon, Nikon, Leica, Lumix, more camera companies, Peter. Quick. Panasonic, the Micro Four Thirds, Fuji's. Okay? This has the newest style chips. All the other companies are going to go with what this camera has done. They're going to try to combine their chips, change the routing and the highway for the power and the power consumption, and basically take control. What do they call it in the movies? Level the table. Okay? So this is the one right before it. Okay? And it has the same three chips that this has, although this is even more refined on the chips. Whatever they needed to fix, it got fixed too along that highway. All right. This one's got the three chips. They're separate, and it has a fan in it to control the heat. This one gets hot. There's no fan in it. This is the A7C Mark II, and there's no fan in this one. And it does have the AI chip, but only one of the chips that are in here. I don't think this one has the two XR chips and the AI chip. I think it's got one XR chip and the AI chip. I could be wrong on that. It's kind of hard to remember what's in, and I'm not just limited to these cameras, okay? There's a lot more cameras that I have to keep track of. Let's say, starting with Nikon, okay? And what they got going on over there. So there you go, Jim. That was for you. Okay, let's level the table. I wish I remember what movie that was from. So Carlos is here. If you have it in a cage, you just use an HDMI cable lock clamp. I got one of those. I didn't have a cage. Which camera was I using? Oh, I was using the Olympus, which is going to come up in a minute. No, we're over here. So I had the Olympus over here, and it was so loose, it was bothering me. So you know those clamps where you clamp wood and you screw the thing and it gets tighter and tighter? I got a baby version of that, okay? And at that particular place, there's a flap door on the Olympus, and then you plug in the HDMI. Well, I took that, and I took the flap door and the cable, and I put that little clamp on there, okay? No, obviously I don't have a cage for the Olympus EM1 Mark II, okay? But that's exactly what Carlos is saying here. By the way, hi, Carlos. Hi, Meg. How you guys doing? Love you. Saying hi. Okay, so what he's saying, you use an HDMI cable lock clamp, and that will work. But I'm still going to bitch and moan. It's not going to shut me up. It's just part of life, okay, that I complain. King says, I just got a fourth ZR. To me, the best camera. Well, I'll be having another one in here again. So that's what's going to happen. Lewis has it right now, and then I get it for a bit, and then it's got to go back to Randy, because it's technically Randy's camera. Roy is talking with King, and they're talking with each other. I'm not a fan of rigging mirrorless cameras. I have my big boy camera for that. Jim says, I got a Starbucks caramel macchiato with a double shot of espresso today. Warmed me up and wound me up. Yeah, that's why Randy kind of taught me, because he does the what is it, that latte mocha something? So I put a spoonful of the instant coffee, the regular caffeinated, about 4 weeks ago. I was up all night and didn't go to sleep till 8 a.m. the next morning. So I said, no, I'm not going to do that again. So the next week I did a half a spoon, and I stayed up till 3, 4 in the morning, 4:30. And for the last 2 weeks, I have those little spoons that measure, tablespoon, teaspoon, half a teaspoon, quarter of a teaspoon. So in here, I have a quarter of a teaspoon, and I made it so it was like heaping, okay? Because I really was very sleepy at the beginning of this hour and 22 minutes. Woo, time flew. So King and Roy are talking. Jim got himself all caffeined up. Okay. Are you familiar with Fuji cameras? Yeah, I've had them in here. Hi. Coulter Reams. Hi, Coulter. CR. How you doing, buddy? Glad to see you in here. Love you. Thank you for not staying silent. Fujifilm has its own, let's say, following or group of people that absolutely love that Fuji, and I could see what's to love. There's a lot to love, but it trips the trigger for me of things not to actually own it. I've tried, the last one that I had here was the XT5. Nice camera, nice pictures. The coloring, Fuji is like Kodak. They were competitors in who made the best film. When I shot weddings, I had to buy Kodak film or Fuji film or Ilford film, okay? And the 220 was the size, and 2 1/4, which is the big frame, the big format. So they would compete, and many times Fuji's picture just cannot be beat. So first, thank you for coming in again. Second, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and get me over the 500. And third, yes, if you have the Fuji camera, don't feel left out of the party because I don't fly in that circle. Don't feel left out here. Just be aware of the fact that I am aware of the camera. I think it's a very fine camera. Better than fine. I actually had a Fuji film camera, and then I had the one of the earlier point and shoot cameras, and my dad would shoot with that before he passed away and moved to heaven, and he would say, "You just can't take a bad picture with the Fuji camera. You could try, but you cannot take a bad picture," and that stuck in my mind. So Roy is saying, New York communist, or is it socialist? It's not Americanist, so you'll have to pick out which one might be the proper term. I think I've heard the word socialist quite often, but it's a different religion that is trying to edge into our thinking here. That's what I object to. Okay? Socialist and communist, people won't go with that. But the new religion, where it's not on our values, Judeo-Christian values, which is the country I was born into, I'm not willing to give that up. I'm willing to speak up and say something. Sammy, hey big boy, love you. How you doing? Did you get to play in the snow? Man in the image of God must be a major insult. Boy, I could run with that one, but I'm not. So Roy is talking to King. Boop, 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 boop. Muslims used to be very tolerant until they became the enemy of the world. Let's shut down, if your comment, I know I'm behind on the comments. Let's shut down the religious talk, because I kind of go out on a limb when I do that. I have the right to do it, and I know your comments are behind and you want to say something, so go ahead and say it, but I'm not going to put those up at this point, because I'm not looking to... Now, Roy says, send Musk to Mars and leave him there. Now, what you're saying is more truthful than you think. He has a belief in his heart, and this is nothing more than facts. Not insulting, not saying I like or don't like. He has a belief we're going to overpopulate the world, and we actually have to find ways to get off the planet, which is why he created the first thing, which is an electric car. Okay, he had the means to do it, and he did it. Can't take that away from him. Okay, he created the electric car to stave off what he considers is going to happen in a bad way to the earth, what man is doing to the earth. Okay, then the second thing is he's got SpaceX, because he wants to create and institute a vehicle system so that we can colonize another planet. Not quite sure which one, but that is what he thinks, and it's part of what his mentality is. That's what makes him tick. Musk didn't start Tesla, but he may have ended it. Well, the car is so good and so popular. You really think he's going to end it, Roy? I just think he gave it a kick in the gut. So I can say, I guess, in a calm way, I don't appreciate being made the butt of the jokes and a target. So when I'm at a red light, the guy in the car next to me might throw his Coke out the window on me on purpose. I didn't need that because I bought the Tesla. I didn't sign up for that. And he should not have done that to his people. The people that are his customers are his people. That's not a good thing to do. Okay, I'm skipping over some, so don't feel like I didn't see them. El Camino, that's the car. Ha! Thank you. I couldn't think of what car it was. It's the El Camino and the Ranchero. Okay, that was the open back sedans that were like a mini, not a mini. They were something like a pickup truck, but not a pickup truck style. They were in a car style. Tesla should have that. They don't. They have enough, what do you call it? That where they manufacturing plants. So Roy is talking to King, and King is talking to Roy. David Martin is here. The real question. I love you, first of all. Where are you? Right there. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making comment. Okay. But I do get very verbose and what do you call it? Fluttery. There's a better word, but can't come up with it right now. The real question is, do you believe time travel exists and there's laws imposed in the future that impact the present? I don't know. That would be kind of like having the thought that, if you look out in outer space and you come down to us, okay, and then when you get more minuscule, you come down to something smaller, and then you get something smaller. So a lot of these questions go round in circles. So do I believe, David, that time travel exists? I think that time travel is possible. I don't think it exists. Okay? And the reason that I say that is biblical, because I watched a person, one of the features that we'll have, according to the Bible, I'm not speaking this as if I'm God. Do I look like God to you? Not saying that to you, David. That was very pointed. This is to everyone. Okay? One of the things is travel. You want to go, if I wanted to go to New York, if I want to visit Sammy now, okay, I could travel at the speed of a car. I could travel at the speed of a plane. I can travel at the speed of light. Okay? So what's the fastest form of travel? That is the travel that mechanism is given to us when we arrive in heaven. Okay? And that is, are you ready for this? Drum roll, please. To have, be able to travel at the speed of thought. So if I think of where you are, David, imagine me leaving here, being there in an instant, and maybe a few milliseconds before I appear in your living room, okay, or in your bedroom. All right. I'll kind of like slow down, like you know how warp, you see it go in and you see them coming out of warp on the Next Generation. It's done beautifully. You'll be able to see so that you don't crash into a person or you don't crash into a wall. Just for not even a nanosecond, you'll see what's there, you'll aim, and then appear. Okay? So to go from here to Mars, don't they say it's X number of light years? So that's how many years it will take, light, to travel to arrive there. That's slow. I know it's fast, okay? But that's slow. Thousands of light years? I'd have to travel for 1,000 years to get someplace? The speed of thought is instant. I think it and I'm there. The only mechanism I haven't solved is how not to crash into the wall or into another person when I arrive. So I'm thinking just like warp in and warp out, okay? Right before I'm ready to come out of my time travel speed, I should be able to see a nanosecond of where it is. So if you were able to travel at the speed of thought and arrive right here, David, and everybody else, you'd be able to see, I don't want you in my lap. We're not that friendly, okay? Stay off my lap, dude. But you could appear over there. All you have to do is be able to aim yourself. That is something we are promised in the Bible. This is not science fiction. This is not Steven Spielberg traveling at the speed of thought. So they discover a new planet somewhere. Bing! In thought, I'm there. I'm there now. No gazillion, billion, trillion light years away. The light years is even worse than a bicycle compared to a car now, you know. What's faster, a bicycle or a horse? I was going to say faster than a horse. So King and Roy and So Sam said Elon should stop production of the Cybertruck. I don't think so, Sam. I don't like the Cybertruck. I think it's damn ugly. Okay? There are people that like it, and that's fine. However, it is a platform. It's got engines. It's got a battery system that's 800 volt instead of 400 volt technology. Take that platform, and just like I said with the Tesla Model Y, make X number of cars out of it. Take the Cybertruck and make your Rolls Royce on it. Make a normal looking pickup. I mean, you can keep the Cybertruck. I'm not proposing, I'm not micromanaging them. Okay? So they can keep the Cybertruck. They can make a Rolls Royce. They can make a Cadillac version on that. They can make a regular size pickup that looks like a regular pickup, and all of that, and even the car that they just ditched, their flagship, they can build their flagship. That's in production. That platform is going. That platform is running. Why aren't you making use of what you've designed, Mr. Elon Musk? In my opinion, you're not maximizing your abilities, and you're not maximizing what was put into your hands by God. God didn't give me the ability to make a battery-run car, but he gave it to you. That's the same thing with the lotto. When you win the lotto and everybody calls and says, I want some, I want some. If God wanted you to have some, God would have given it to you. So I will not have any problems when I win the lotto to say no. Well, don't you care about my child? It's going to die. Well, if God's able to bless me, he's able to bless you. My source is not myself. My source is the Lord. Big difference. The Lord is endless. I am so limited, I can barely fit in my own box. Okay? So he needs to maximize, Sam, he needs to maximize the Cybertruck platform, not just eliminate it. What you're saying is you don't like the car? You know what? I agree with you. I would hate to have to drive that thing around. If I think I'm marked just by driving a Tesla for people to throw things at or to confront me or to be road raged, imagine the people that have a Cybertruck where it looks like a freaking wedge, stainless steel wedge, flying down the highway. You know? Okay, King is saying, Uncle Peter, Washington Mutual was a lit bank. It's gone. Your baby is gone if you liked it. Okay, not there anymore. They take something and they throw out all the good part because these young 25-year-olds, no offense to anybody in here that's 25. I know Sammy, he's 21, but he doesn't think like this, okay? But you get these people that get in and take over a company, and they don't realize the value is their people, the value is their name. You know how long it takes to build up a name? A freaking name? It takes a while to establish a good, solid name. So let's say something we all know. McDonald's, Chick-fil-A. So let's say some other company buys it, and let's say it's called Goo Goo. Okay? So let's say they're huge in Australia. Goo Goo is absolutely a monstrous multi-trillion-dollar company in Australia. And they want to buy something in the United States. And they buy Chick-fil-A or they buy Burger King. Okay? And they go, but we love our name. So we're going to take all the Burger King names down and we're going to call it Goo Goo Burgers. So Burger King's history is gone. Now it's Goo Goo Burgers. Did we just start a company? So David says the Sony FX2 has a full-frame sensor with auto framing that makes a solo content provider have tracking ability with superior image quality. Too bad it doesn't have raw video internally. So it doesn't? I don't know if it does or if it doesn't, okay? I own the camera. I just cannot memorize all the features in each and every camera. Okay? Now, it might have raw recording, but it might have to come out of the HDMI. So, David is correct. Saying that it does not have raw at all, I have to yield to you, David, because I really don't know. I could look it up right now, but we're running long for a short program. So Roy and Cuck, what's the name? Why can't I see his name? Boop, boop. Oh, Cruck. Roy and Cruck are commenting. Tongue twisters. Okay. Roy says freedom of speech in America is slipping lower each month. Last time I checked, it's 27th among developed countries. Yeah, that happens. The inventor of the CMOS, now I'm not saying that Canon invented it, but David said whoever that is, he just won the Nobel Prize. That's pretty cool. I'll have to remember that one. Thank you, David. I still prefer the look of CD sensors. Pity they cost more to make. Yeah, I think they're in our past. I don't think that they are. I think that if whatever they're using them for now is actually niche. They have a purpose, they do it, and it goes on. I really respect Canon still makes their own sensors. Roy says viruses go from handrails and benches and to the hands to the face. And if that's the path, we've got to cut that short. I mean, you're all into cameras here, I'm guessing, so you know how to do workarounds. So handrails and benches to hands to face. Figure out how to short circuit that in your life and you won't get sick as easily, I should say. Okay? So hand sanitizer, spray into the mouth, okay? Or spray onto the hand, rub it out, rub it out, rub it out. I could go a lot of places with that one. You gotta rub it out. King, you could say this to everybody. I hope Nikon goes back to making their own sensors. Eric Wan is the founder and CEO of Zoom. Well, see, Zoom is solid. It's known for what it does until it gets so big and some other company's going to swallow it up. And guess what's going to happen? These 25-year-old dits people. When I say 25-year-old, it sounds like I'm picking on a person age group. I'm picking on a mental thought process. And that thought process is everything has to be new all the time. Let's change everything. Let's rearrange the furniture. Let's rearrange your face. Okay? That's what I'm knocking when I say a 25-year-old. Because it's usually these young studs that feel they have to prove themselves, and they're going to prove it by rearranging the furniture. That means not respecting what was built. And I feel that it may take years to build something in terms of reputation and recognizability, and then it's gone. And I think I want to say something about that. Nikon's last sensor was in the D5. So I did think they made it for a while. Did they stop? We had the highest temperature on record this week, 49, almost 50. Are you boiling? Is your blood boiling over there? Roy's in Australia, for you guys that don't know. Okay. So Kruk is saying, Uncle Peter, I'm with you. If I had to choose, I go Canon over Sony. Luis, Mr. Camera Junkie, who will be on tomorrow night. And it'll be at 10 o'clock. Okay. By the way, let's read his comment. Okay, I did misinterpret that comment. I always just keep my show political free. Yeah, I did. I knew you mentioned it, and I figured your response is I could have corrected it, but I would just be bumbling and fumbling all over the place. So I meant ice cubes, ice on the floor that comes down and freezes, and your car slides, or you slip and fall on your ass. That's the ice I was talking about. That is dangerous. It's dangerous to old people. It's dangerous to people that don't put the right tires on their cars. Okay? Because I watched those cars sliding around with no control. There's nothing to control a car that's sliding sideways. The tires are not meant to control it. I don't know how it can get so airborne like that, but it does. Okay? So Roy and Kruk are talking. Roy and Kruk are still talking. Roy and talk, da 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 da. Bup, 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 bup. All right, flat whites are great. Of course, I'd have to pick up something where I don't know what we're talking about. What's a flat wipe? White, not wipe. Roy says he's down to 2 Fuji cameras. Yeah, we got Fuji lovers in here. So don't feel left out because I'm not a Fuji man. Okay. I'm down to 3 Fujis. We just grew by 1. Uncle Peter, I don't think I've ever seen a restaurant in Miami that makes Vegemite sandwiches. Is that from the Lucy show? Vegavita Vitam? No, that's Vegemite. I do recognize the name. Okay. In the 80s, Fujifilm became better than Kodak. Okay, so that's an opinion, and I happen to agree with you. Okay, but I think there would be people that would stand up for Kodak. Moving to Mars is more difficult than most people think. Can you imagine the suitcase you're going to have to pack? Those things that they drop off in front of your house and the containers, you'd have to pack that up, then they have to ship that to Mars. Okay, if I see something I don't understand, I'm bypassing that too. Warning, if you submit a paper on time, then don't contradict Einstein. So you made that rhyme. Good for you. Musk has sold 400,000 of the Cybertrucks as armored vehicles to the military. I didn't know that. Let's cancel it. I feel I'm in the mood to cancel it today. See, that's unstable. That should not be in power. It should be, if a human acted that way, they'd put him on medication. I would have thought the DeLorean stainless steel body would have showed the problems. Well, that's a true thought. When Burger King came to Australia, we already had a Burger King, so it's called Hungry Jack's here. Which one changed their name? The Burger King that came from the U.S. or the Burger King that stayed or was originally in Australia? So one of them changed their name to Hungry Jack. Okay, I actually like that name. Workarounds are my favorite sport. I'm sure you could see that. When you're out on a wedding, you have to do workarounds. When Musk bought into Tesla, it was all downhill afterwards. No, that's when it climbed up. But I know what you're saying. Remember to give a like and subscribe. If the bridge isn't up, Peter, we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, warm, and keep smiling. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, I need to get to 500. And it's you guys that have to do it, okay? My car had sand tires. Flat white is an Aussie coffee. The USA Burger King changed to Hungry Jack's down here. Thank you. Okay. So I guess our show is over. We almost went 2 hours. I honestly, I have to confess to you something that you probably wouldn't have known, but when I started this show, I felt my Tesla battery needed to get plugged in and charged. So caffeine is a wonder drug. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I have almost fallen asleep twice on these shows, and that would be very embarrassing. So plus the way I make this is so damn tasty, it's amazing. I just can't wait to have more. More, please. More, please. All right, guys. Thank you for being here and listening to me tonight. Do give it a thumbs up if you haven't. There's really no reason other than it tickles me that, you're giving me a thumbs up. I mean, the show is already being broadcast, so they're not going to bring in new viewers. But thank you for loving me and listening. And I do love you guys. I do have opinions, but you know what's more important than my opinions is the ability to respect other people's opinions. Otherwise, you become these people that you see all over YouTube that just have to have their way. They have to be louder than anybody else, and they don't have respect for other people. That's just not right. That's not what I'm about, and I'm pretty sure that's not what most of you are about. All right? Merry Christmas. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in Friday night, God willing, and the bridge isn't up. I'll see you next Friday, possibly even Wednesday too, also. Remember, we go in our cold spell, and the eastern seaboard from here to middle to northern Virginia is going to get hit hard in the next few days. High winds, hurricane high winds, okay? And then also they're going to get, in some times during the day, 2 to 3 inches of snow. So if you've got relatives there, reach out, check up on them, be nice. And God willing, I will see you. Thank you for joining me. God bless you guys. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye. Go home. Go home. Ferris Bueller, he told it to you. Go home. Bye.